All right, Fish, you can take over.
Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for
You can see.
yeah for coming and celebrating Snakepit's 80th birthday with us. Um, he's going to be performing live, uh, and also at the end with his friend Adam over here. And yeah, we're just gonna talk a little bit about his Snakepit's history. Uh, let's go down. Can you see these, Eddie? These photos on your screen or something?
We can see him.
Okay.
We can definitely see him.
All right. Yeah, these are some old photos and some new art there on the bottom.
There's
Newer photo.
and-
Well, we could start from the 60s. I know before you got into music, Eddie, you were working on art
Yes.
most. Hold on.
If you make me a co-host, Steve, I can help you mute people too.
Are we going to go back to the 60s?
Yeah, when you were working on art before you got into music and like working around the world and with Peter Volkus. Can you tell us about that period?
Well, before I was in the Army and I was a welder before that. And when I was in the Army, I was doing welding and welding sculptures. And I did a lot of crucifixes. I don't know why. But I did make a crucifix that was really, really nice out of stainless steel. And Mr. Ferrari used to live in the same apartment building that I did. And I gave that to him. And that's interesting because when Kennedy got killed, his wife came over to tell me in my apartment. But after, I kept welding, I kept sculpting, and I studied all over Italy, all the masters, and I mean, Florence, and looking at David, looking at all these great sculptures, and Michelangelo be carving stuff on the railroad tracks and stuff. Anyway, I left there, and um, when I came back to the United States, uh, I worked in the shipyard, and I was getting all kind of great metal. Excuse me, and I went to California College of Arts and Crafts, and that's where I studied under Peter Vokus, and he is world class. Uh, I mean, you can always Google him and just see how incredible that was. And then I, I started doing more music than art in that Antelope Valley in Los Angeles, and out of the 60s and early 70s is when I started writing like space operas and doing all the new wave punk shows. And
Can you tell us how you got to Wheeler's Ranch and a little bit about what Wheeler's Ranch is?
oh yeah, during uh, when I first got out of the Army, and I think I did only 1 or 2 paintings. I did one that was called Colors and Stripes, I think. And what I did, I had a big black canvas, and I took worms and I put them in different paint, and then I put the worms on the black canvas, and then I took some acid and went and slung them off, and that was my first painting. and after that, the whole period of tune in, turn on,
This is
drop
your
out.
neighbor.
Yeah, it was tune in, turn on, drop out, and that's when we moved up to Humboldt County, and ended up from Humboldt County, ended up at Wheeler's Ranch.
What can you say about? Can you see the photo of this snake? It looks like a kind of like sculpture, and then a few people propping it up outside.
And the photo next to it is there's a great Ramon Cinder, and I met him at Wheeler's Ranch, and he's, you know, he started the first tape deck, and I can't say enough about him.
Yeah, the San Francisco Tape and Music
Yeah,
Center, where a lot of electronic music was pretty much born.
I was born there.
And then in the 70s, you were still at around the Bay Area, Berkeley, and you were playing Keystone Corner, the Seashell, and pretty much every club in the area, right?
And that mask, my best friend Hugh, we made all these masks with different, and it was for a band called Snakepit and the White Boy. But I was doing a lot of punk music. Feeling sorry, feeling sad. So many ugly people. I feel so sad. And then at the Seashell, there's Smiley Winters and Kitty Margolis and Carl Herder. Carl's been with me for a long time. Huh, Carl?
That's me. Yeah. And tell about who's to my left. I'm blanking out on his name, but do you remember Jefferson? You know, the guy who started Pan Fever.
Yeah, but that's
Dennis.
Dennis Kaufman.
Yeah.
Dennis Kaufman, yes.
And I remember I played a long time with him before he even played Pan. And I remember he was playing piano one time at a club. And I thought everybody in it was such high grade musicians. And he did a rundown and fell on the floor and had passed. I had to give him mouth to mouth recitation right there.
Well, he had anaphylactic shock.
Yeah. But that's what he died. He died of a brain end. Yeah. God, I miss you, Dennis.
Yeah. And that's you.
I miss Smiley over there.
That's you, Herder, with the sunglasses?
In the middle,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In the 80s. Oh man. That's when I had a rap group called Snakepit and the Rappers and the Rattlers. Snakepit and the Rat. And that's a rap group with this lady in the middle. And she's over on the right. And there's another friend, Leonard, who's might be online. He was here. And the lady, I could never remember her name, but I called her
I'm
Sweet
online.
Pesticide.
Oh,
Yes.
cool. Cool. Ah! This is the greatest day. I have never been this happy in 40 years or more. Thank you, my family. So we left out of the 90s. Then what happened? We went, man, that's huge.
Oh, this is a little video segment from New Wave Theater.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's once again my pride and privilege to introduce to you your host, magnificent Peter Ivers. Thanks, Zach. You're more of a gherkin every week. There's a snake in the grass with his tail in his mouth, and when the big wheel of steel hits the barnyard, you're gonna panic with snakes in, and damn, what you gonna do when the fallout's on?
Oh man, I messed that one up.
Yeah, well, Peter Ivers was real close, and he helped me get a lot of gigs. And somebody, through some movie situation, came into his loft and plunged him to death. Yeah, Peter
Yeah.
used to come to all my gigs.
And he was the host of New Wave Theater, right? And
Yeah,
the kind of like a punk TV show that was your performance, I think, was in 1982, right?
right.
And you did two of them later with Norton.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, there's we made a documentary, or like a short 40-minute documentary, and it that video is featured on there, and it's also on YouTube if you want to check it out. But it's really good. And what can you tell us about the Japanese theater?
Well, I worked years at the Japanese theater downtown LA, and I got to play with the Grand Kabuki. We became super close friends. The two guys in the middle next to Rob the Blob were the great musicians in the orchestra. And the one down below, I was playing koto. I was trained by a lady named Mishoka. And then the Japanese Orchestra of Tokyo came to the auditorium. And the head, she was amazed that I was playing with this old antique koto that was made by hand. And I'm playing some funky blues scale. And she loved. And the guy that fixed up all those, he restrung it and make it a soup. Wow. Oh, don't make me cry. If anybody on there don't know who that is, shame, shame. That's the great Billy Higgins. Man, that's not the video in his bedroom. I've been looking for that for months. Is that? That is it. That was Christmas morning before anybody went for Christmas things. Oh, I've been looking for that for months. That was one of the greatest things that Billy and I ever did. We just became one. Wow. Now that's a birthday present. I'm blown away. Look how big I was.
Wow. And I used to really take care of Billy after he got his liver transplant.
Went from punk in the 80s to a tie in the 90s.
And the 90s was a different time. The 90s was a transition. You know, lived out in the desert and built that big studio and then packed that all up, and here I am. That's the band. And when I do my art exhibit, that band's gonna come. And we're gonna have a reunion. When we played at the auditorium, we sold it out. You couldn't get standing room only. And they were young. Now, hey, they're the baddest players in town.
And
Wow.
they're going to be playing at an art show that you're going to be having coming up, right?
Yes, at the most exclusive art gallery here in Japala.
What's the band called?
What's the band? It's called Snakepit and the Avant-Gardia. Now, Snakepit and the Avant-Gardians. And I just played with that drummer. There's two drummers, two bass player, guitar, two guitars. The lady plays the piano, and she is awesome. And one of the bass players with the white shirt, we played a couple of months ago, the first time I played since before the pandemic.
These are a couple of your recent art pieces that you're working on.
Yeah. My studio is just filled with art. I'm doing art almost every day.
So you're pretty much back where you started, right? Art and music together.
Yep. And you were there in Antelope just before I left. I did an art show at the college. And that was some pretty interesting art. Wow.
Also, can you talk a little bit about the series that you've been working on about your family?
It's family and friends. I've interviewed 50 people, and each one I'm doing a story about. It's a Black cowboy adventure. And it tells the history of these people with all the sound effects, and it's another adventure. And I intend to get that finished, make a book out of it, and a video. And hopefully we can get that on not YouTube, but Netflix. That's the goal.
Because you have cowboys in your family, right?
Yes. My great uncle rode a Buffalo Bill. And his name was Yellowhammer. And he was a bad mojo. Because Buffalo Bill was a racist dog, but he loved my uncle. And I got some other families that are cowboys, real cowboy from the 1800s.
Well, that explains a lot, Snake.
Well, yeehaw!
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else anyone would like to add, or any stories that you have of Eddie over the years?
I was just thinking about the evolution of the musical styles that you were involved with. It seems like you went through a number of different phases, like and I guess when I knew you, you were into a jazz phase, but it always kind of had I mean, I shouldn't say when I knew you. I mean when we played together. Still know you.
Yeah.
But it was kind of veering off in other directions even then. You're never one who stayed kind of pigeonholed in a genre or anything like that.
I'm still not getting in that hole, buddy.
I just remember those sessions you did in the basement of your house with Homer and Dennis, and you're playing the bass clarinet, and those are back in the late '70s when I was. That was some pretty wild stuff.
Man, I miss Homer. I don't know what happened to him. He moved to the woods and never heard from again. And Sam People, I thought he would be on, but he's probably doing a gig.
Yeah, Sam and I used to play together in Culebra. We did the Bears Lair a lot, and I was in his group Vehicle too for a while. So Sam is he's the main man.
Wow. So I'm really happy. This is the happiest day of my life in a long time.
Tell
And
us about your day, Snake. What'd you do?
what did I do?
Yeah,
A good friend took me out for a steak dinner,
nice.
and I just been here enjoying life, making more songs, and making more art.
Yeah, wonderful. Did you do some art today?
I did.
Cool.
Uh,
Good. Are you gonna are they gonna videotape the art exhibit? Like will
oh
there
yeah,
be a video of that? Okay.
absolutely.
I'd love to see that.
I'm
When
gonna
is
show
that
you.
gonna, when is it gonna be? When is the art exhibit gonna be?
We're not exactly sure.
You
The
gotta let us know.
gallery just came over and assessed and when they came, they said, "Oh." But this is a piece I just working on right now.
Is that a boot?
That's a high heel. Let me see how. Can you see it?
Put it at the phone.
This.
Can you
Oh,
turn
there
us?
it is.
There you go.
There
Oh,
you
that's
go. Now I see it.
fantastic.
Yeah, okay.
I love that. That's awesome. Where'd you get the high heel? Did you steal that from Maria?
Uh, actually, it was a throwaway that nobody used.
That's a nice boot. Looks
Yeah,
expensive.
it
Yeah.
was.
Uh-huh. It's
Oh,
even better now.
oh, I'm getting ready. I got the other one. I'm
Oh,
gonna make that
I'm sure you do.
like because my mother did that. She was an artist, and she had a high heel with styrofoam, which I'm gonna do on this other one, and flowers coming up. And then she glued beans, and macaronis and noodles and stuff, and then spray paint. And I kept it forever. When I moved to the woods, the rats went and ate all the stuff.
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible.
Hey,
Aw.
Snake, I don't know if I think our time might be running out in about
Okay,
8 minutes. Do you and Adam want to
yeah,
do
Adam and I, let me
performance?
put the shoe down. Yeah.
I thought we would have a little bit more time, but we appreciate everyone showing up and spending this this little evening with us.
All right, so we're switching over. Let's change this.
So you guys notice I'm playing this new. It's got 600 sounds in it. It's called a Roland AE 20. And Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to my partner, Adam. And I call him Adam Smasher.
Hello, hello,
Because we
hello.
about to smash it.
Welcome. I'm thrilled to be here at the party. I'm gonna
I'm gonna
do
do
what I
what
said
I
to
said
Eddie
to
when I
Eddie when I
first met
first
him.
met him.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
shut up
shut
and
up
play
and
my
play my
guitar.
guitar. That's what Frank Zappa. Just shut up and play your.
All right.
All right.
This is
This is
dedicated
dedicated to all my
friends.
friends.
If you start off, I'm gonna do this little ambience. I'm pushing mute.